just a quick idea here for all these Americans that want to do something for America and like start your own business, have a homestead and grow your own garden and stuff. Seems like it'd be real nice if we had an all mechanical diesel, crank to start tractor. A little bit Jeep Willis, a little bit Farmall, right? And let's do some kind of deal where whoever buys it has to put it together themselves. It's their responsibility. And then we can outsource each individual part to a different homestead type facility where a man can make this one specific part in his shop and make thousands of them, and then palletize the freight, send it to a conglomeration to whatever degree, and then everybody pack the parts into a crate and then ship the crate directly to the customer, and the customer can have a dealer assemble this thing or assemble it themselves with their son on the weekend. So they put together this all mechanical diesel farm all tractor / Jeep Willis. You can do a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive probably, but just like the old case tractor, you know what I mean? That like the engine block is the frame, and the transmission is the frame. You know what I mean? And just like no suspension, with puffy tires as suspension, and like you can crank it to start it. You have the optional starter, but not necessary starter. You know what I mean? No scoops on the front, all that kind of stuff. Just a PTO on the back to run a tiller and a brush hog and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Super simple. Look back to what was going on when there wasn't no liquor. And let's make a tractor for every home, and let's put a road gear. Let's do the twin stick on this thing. Let's run this thing like let's do a twin stick with a 3-speed selector and then a 4-speed transmission. So you got like super low, everyday, normal, and then like a road gear where you can cruise about 60. You know what I mean? 60 if it's just crazy. You know what I mean? But you're not hurting nothing. Easing on down to Walmart going 45 with your blinkers on. You know what I'm saying? And then like it don't even have blinkers, just like reflectors. You know what I'm saying? Foam filled tires, the whole 9 yards. Just EMP proof. Like it will not die. It's an off-road vehicle. The cheap, old school diesel fuel. Everybody can just, have a barrel, on a shelf in their shop for a backup fuel source. And then, the balloon goes up, or a nuclear war, whatever. They did an EMP, there was a solar flare, whatever. They knocked us back to the 1800s. And we have 1800s equipment to deal with life. You know what I mean? Like the guy at the cul-de-sac had one of these things that he built in his shop type of deal. And then like the dude and the kids that he, on the weekend just slapped together a Jeep, or just slapped together a, tractor, or a tractor Jeep combo, transformer, whatever. That would be cool. That would be cool. And then to have that ability and grid down, dude. And then you can do like the super upgraded one for like twice the money, where it's just like a 5.9 comes in a 6-speed in a freaking single wheel 1-ton truck. You know what I mean? And then like, maybe harvest these older trucks or whatever and just figure out, but just mechanical diesel that is unstoppable. So we can fight the freaking Terminator. And then like each individual part. You know what I mean? So like the church or whatever, the kinfolk, you know what I mean? You got this homestead over here, homestead over there. You know what I mean? Let's say this thing takes 1,000 parts, and you just offer it up. You know what I mean? And then like, you know, so and so's got an idea to do this part. So and so's got an idea for that part. Let the farm boy innovation, you know, maybe just do it to like the FFA. You know what I mean? FFA, bring back auto mechanics and FFA in the public schools. You know what I mean? It'd be like, hey, you know, manufacturing at school and get some slave labor. I mean, teaching, whatever. You know what I mean? Like a course in, you know, Farm All Willis. You know, what you talking about Willis Initiative? You know what I mean? Just little stuff, you know, we're just going to take over the earth for Jesus. You know what I mean? Nothing major. Nothing major. You know, just win a nuclear war. You know what I mean? Just fight off the, you know, radiological effects of the sun during a solar flare. You know, whatever, pole shift. You know, dig this thing out of the mud, put it together. All right, Rock Hill. I don't know what to call this one. What is this? I don't know. Kingdom business, a little bit ranch, a little bit manufacturing, a whole lot of skipping around. We're just gonna call this one skipping around. Go get them, read that Bible. Jesus, man. Bless us all. Amen. Pass the biscuits.